I remember the day I met LLA like it was yesterday. It was at my friend's party, and the moment I saw her, I felt an instant connection. She had this vibrant energy that drew me in, and I couldn't help but approach her. We started talking, and it was like we'd known each other for years. The conversation flowed effortlessly, and I was captivated by her charm and wit. As the party went on, LLA and I found ourselves drawn to each other. We danced, laughed, and swapped stories about our lives. I couldn't believe how easy she was to be around. It felt like fate had brought us together, and I knew right then that I wanted to spend more time with this incredible woman. In the weeks that followed, Lila and I became inseparable. We went on dates, explored the city together, and spent countless hours talking about our hopes and dreams. I had never felt so connected to another person. It was like we were two puzzle pieces that fit together perfectly. As our relationship progressed, I knew that LLA was the one I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. We started making plans for our future, discussing where we wanted to live, what kind of family we wanted to have, and all the adventures we wanted to have together. I couldn't imagine my life without her by my side, so on a perfect sunny day, surrounded by our closest friends and family, Lila and I got married. As we exchanged our heartfelt vows, I looked into her eyes and saw a love I had never known before. It was a love that was pure, unconditional, and forever and ever. I promised to love her, support her, and be there for her through all of life's ups and downs. As we began our journey as newlyweds, Lila and I were blissfully happy. We believed that our love could conquer anything life could throw at us. We were naive, yes, but we were also deeply in love and committed to each other. Little did we know that our love would be tested in ways we could never have imagined. As time passed, I began to notice a change in Isla. She seemed restless, always looking for new thrills and experiences. At first, I tried to accommodate her desires, thinking that perhaps we had fallen into a routine and needed to spice things up. We went on adventurous dates, tried new hobbies together, and even planned a few weekend getaways. But no matter what we did, LLA always seemed to want more. One night, I came home from work early, hoping to surprise Law with a romantic dinner. As I walked through the front door, I heard noises coming from our bedroom. My heart sank as I slowly made my way up the stairs, each step feeling heavier than the last. When I pushed open the bedroom door, my world shattered into a million pieces. There was Lila, tangled in the sheets with another man. They were so engrossed in each other that they didn't even notice me standing there, mouth agape, tears welling up in my eyes. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, the woman I loved, the one I had pledged my life to, betraying me in the most intimate way possible. I stumbled out of the room, my vision blurred by the tears streaming down my face. I could hear Isla calling after me, but I couldn't bear to look at her. I felt like I was suffocating as the walls of her house closed in on me. I grabbed my keys and ran out the door, desperate to escape the pain that was consuming me. I stayed at a friend's house for days, trying to process what had happened. I was hurt, angry, and confused. How could Isla do this to me, to us? I thought our love was unbreakable, but now I wasn't so sure. When I finally got up the courage to confront LLA, she broke down in tears and apologized profusely. She said that she had felt lost and unfulfilled, and that she had made a terrible mistake. I wanted to believe her, forgive her, and move on. I loved her so much, and the thought of losing her was unbearable. I told LLA that I was willing to work things out, go to therapy, and do whatever it took to save our marriage, but as the weeks went by, I began to suspect that she was still seeing other people behind my back. The late nights, the mysterious phone calls, The distant look in her eyes all indicated that Isla wasn't ready to fully commit to our relationship. One night, LLA sat me down and told me she wanted an open marriage. She said she loved me, but needed to explore her desires with other people. I was shocked and heartbroken. How could the woman I loved so much suggest such a thing? I tried to reason with her, to explain that I couldn't bear the thought of her being with someone else, but she was adamant. "Ethan, please." She begged with tears in her eyes. "I need this. I feel suffocated in this marriage. I need to be free to explore my sexuality and find out who I really am." I felt like I had been punched in the gut. Was I not enough for her? Had I failed as a husband? I loved LLA more than anything in the world, and the thought of losing her was unbearable. So, even though it went against everything I believed in, I reluctantly agreed to an open marriage. At first, LLA was discreet about her encounters. She would come home late at night, smelling of unfamiliar perfume. But I chose to turn a blind eye. I couldn't bear to face the reality of what was happening, but as time went on, she became more brazen. She would go away for entire weekends, claiming to be visiting friends. But I knew better. I tried to keep myself busy with work and hobbies. Anything to distract myself from the pain of knowing my wife was out there sharing herself with other men. But no matter what I did, I couldn't escape the constant pain in my heart. Lila and I grew more distant each day. She was rarely home, and when she was, we barely spoke. It was like living with a stranger. I missed the woman I had fallen in love with, the one who had promised to be mine forever. I knew I couldn't go on like this forever. I deserved better than a wife who put her own selfish desires ahead of our marriage. But every time I tried to bring it up, LLA would get defensive and accuse me of trying to control her. "You agreed to that, Ethan," she would say, her eyes flashing with anger. "You can't go back on your word now." I felt trapped, stuck in a marriage that was slowly destroying me. I loved Ela, but I was beginning to realize that maybe love wasn't enough. Maybe we had grown too far apart to ever find our way back together. As I watched Ela walk out the door once again, suitcase in hand, I couldn't help but wonder how much longer I could bear this pain. I had given her everything, but it seemed it would never be enough. My once happy marriage had become a prison, and I didn't know how to escape. I thought I could handle an open marriage, but reality quickly set in. The pain of knowing that Lila was intimate with other men was a constant throb in my chest. I tried to bury myself in work, hoping to distract myself from the grim reality of my crumbling relationship. One night, I came home early from work, hoping to surprise LLA with a romantic dinner. As I walked through the front door, I heard muffled sounds coming from our bedroom. My heart sank as I slowly made my way up the stairs, each step feeling heavier than the last. I gently pushed open the bedroom door, and my world was shattered. Lying in our bed was LLA entwined with my best friend, Marcus. They were so caught up in their passionate embrace that they didn't even notice me standing there, frozen in shock, wondering what the hell was going on. I demanded my voice, shaking with a mixture of anger and despair. LLA and Marcus scrambled to cover themselves, their faces flushed with guilt. "Ethan, I can explain," Lila stammered, but I held up my hand to silence her. "How could you?" I asked, my eyes fixed on him. "Marcus, you're my best friend, and this is how you betray me." Marcus couldn't meet my eyes. "I'm sorry, man. It just happened. We didn't mean for it to go this far." I laughed bitterly. "It just happened in my own bed with my wife." LLA stepped forward, tears streaming down her face. "Ethan, please, let's talk about this. I know we agreed to an open marriage, But what have I done? Sleeping with my best friend is not part of the deal. I can't believe you would stoop so low. I turned and walked out of the room, my heart pounding with every step. I found myself in the living room, collapsed on the couch, my head in my hands. How had my life come to this? The woman I loved, the one I had given everything to, had betrayed me in the most intimate way possible. Ella came downstairs, her eyes red and puffy. "Ethan, I'm so sorry," she whispered and reached for my hand. I pulled away, unable to bear her touch. "I don't want to hear it," I said, my voice flat and unemotional. "You've made your choice, and it's clear that our marriage means nothing to you." Lila's eyes widened. "That's not true. I love you, Ethan. I just need more. I thought an open marriage would give us the freedom to explore while still being together." I shook my head. "Freedom? This isn't freedom, Ela. This is a betrayal of everything we swore to each other. I can't do this anymore." I stood, my heart heavy with the weight of my decision. "I'm filing for divorce, Ela. I can't live like this anymore." Lila's eyes widened in shock. "What? No, Ethan. Please, we can work this out. I'll end things with Marcus." I swear I shook my head. "It's too late for that. The trust is gone, and I don't think I can ever look at you the same way again." As I walked out the door, leaving Isla behind, I felt a sense of emptiness wash over me. The life I had built with her was crumbling, and I didn't know how to pick up the pieces. In the weeks that followed, I found solace in the company of Layla's best friend, Sophia. She had always been there for me, offering a listening ear and a shoulder to cry on. As we spent more time together, I began to see her in a new light. Sophia was everything. Ella was loyal, trustworthy, and devoted. She made me feel, want, and appreciate something I hadn't felt in a long time. Slowly but surely I fell in love with her. One night, as we sat on my couch together, Sophia turned to me, her eyes filled with emotion. "Ethan, I know this may not be the right time, but I can't help the way I feel about you. I've always cared for you, and seeing you go through this pain breaks my heart." I looked at her, surprised by her confession. "Sophia, I don't know what to say. I care about you too, but I'm still trying to heal from everything that's happened." She took my hand in hers. Her touch was warm and comforting. "I understand, Ethan. I'm not asking for anything more than you're willing to give. I just want you to know that I'm here for you, no matter what." As I looked into her eyes, I felt a spark of hope ignite within me. Maybe, just maybe, I could find happiness again. Weeks turned into months, and my relationship with Sophia blossomed. We took things slowly, both aware of the delicate situation, but with each passing day I found myself falling deeper in love with her. Ella, on the other hand, was spiraling out of control. She tried to win me back by promising to change, but it was too late. When she received the divorce papers, she lashed out, blaming Sophia for ruining our marriage, but I knew the truth. It was Leia's own actions that had torn us apart, and now, with Sophia by my side, I finally felt like I could breathe again. As I settled into my new life with Sophia, I couldn't help but feel a sense of relief. The pain and betrayal Isla had caused me was slowly fading away, replaced by the love and support Sophia showered on me every day. One night, as we cuddled on the couch, my phone buzzed with a message from an old friend. "Hey Ethan, I heard about Isla. Apparently all her boyfriends have rejected her. She's a mess, man." I stared at the screen, a part of me feeling a pang of sympathy for the woman I once loved. But as quickly as it came, the feeling disappeared. LLA had made her choices, and now she had to live with the consequences. Sophia must have sensed my unease because she gently took my hand in hers. "Are you okay, Ethan?" I looked at her, my heart swelling with love and gratitude. "I'm fine, Soph. It's just Isla. Obviously, she's not doing so well." Sophia nodded, her eyes filled with understanding. "I can't imagine what she must be going through, but, Ethan, you can't blame yourself for her actions. She chose this path, and now she must face the consequences." I knew she was right. LLA had always been impulsive, and her selfish desires had finally caught up with her. I had tried to make our marriage work, but in the end, it was her own choices that had torn us apart. Over the next few weeks, I heard more about Lila's downward spiral. She had lost her job, and her reputation was in tatters. Our mutual friends told me she was crying constantly, filled with regret for what she had done, but as much as a part of me wanted to reach out and offer some form of comfort, I knew I couldn't. LLA had to learn from her mistakes, and I had to focus on my own happiness. And that happiness was Sophia. Every day she showed me what it meant to be truly loved and cherished. We laughed together, we cried together, and we built a life together. As I held her in my arms, I realized that sometimes life's darkest moments can lead us to its brightest futures. Leia's betrayal had shattered me, but it had also led me to Sophia, and for that I would always be grateful.